guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. I'm your host, Martinique Brown. I'm so excited that you have decided to tune into the show today. Today on the show, I have Trena Matthew, who is the author of Regaining Me. Real talk about love, betrayal, heartbreak, pain, and divorce. So, Trena, can you just tell our viewers just a little bit more about yourself?
Well, I am originally from Shreveport, Louisiana.
Okay.
Born and raised there. Um, and I spent 12 years in the United States Army, and
Okay.
I'm currently a seventh grade teacher.
You're a seventh grade teacher. Oh my gosh. I know you have some patience because I know I was horrible in seventh grade.
They're horrible, but you just got to find a way to deal with them.
Right, right. So now what city do you live in now?
Dallas.
Dallas. Okay, okay. I actually used to live in New Orleans. I went to school down there. So I just love me some, I love me some Louisiana. I just love y'all. Y'all are so great.
Love the food, man. I miss the food.
I
There's no
know. It's nothing like it, right?
right.
And the hospitality, I'm telling you, it's just if you all have never visited Louisiana, you have to go. Okay, I'm just letting you know. No pressure, but you got to make your way down there. Um,
Yes.
so Trina, can you just walk us through your book so we can have a better understanding of what to expect? When we purchase your book.
Okay, well, the book itself is all poetry. I didn't want to write a novel. That's not what God gave me. He
Okay.
gave me poetry. And
Hmm.
so everything that's written in the book is written in poetic form, from stories about my own life and things that I went through, how I felt about it, as well as some friends that shared their stories with me as well. I just
Oh,
took that
okay.
information and I wrote everybody's story in the form of a poem. But I started out kind of, this is what I'm feeling. And then I
Hmm.
kind of walked you through some situations. And as you go through the book, you can see where I was having good days and bad days and
Mm.
moments of clarity. And then
Yeah.
as I got through to the end, I had to talk about, the faith that I had in God, that there was a reason that I went through everything that I went through. And
Mhm.
as you get toward the end, it talks about the actual part. What does it take for me to regain me?
That's good. That's good. So now I don't want Trinae to just tell you about her book. I want you all to actually experience one of her poems. So Trinae, if you could just read one of your poems for us, that would be great.
Well, actually, I chose the one from the book title, the one titled Regaining Me. I think
Okay.
that's probably the most appropriate one to read.
Hmm.
So it's titled Regaining Me. Do you, they say. What does that mean after years of marriage, which I now have thought of disparage? I've done us for so long, I don't know how to do me. Do what you like, they ask. What do you enjoy? They question. How the hell am I supposed to know? I don't know where to start or where to go. Figure it out, they say. Find what interests you, they state. Well, if I knew the answer to this information, mentally, I'd be in a different headspace. Take care of you and your children, they say. Love your children and yourself, they repeat. What the hell do you think I'm trying to do? I have to learn this for me in my own time and no one else, my sweet. Forgive him and forgive yourself, they state. Let go and let God have his vengeance upon him. You say this and have the nerve to ask me to pray for him? Hell, right now, I'm not listening to you or them. Work on yourself. Lose some weight, I'm told. What are you saying? I'm fat or something? Is this why he did this so called mistake? I don't look good enough? Is this what you're trying to say? Yes, I may need to do some or all of these things to get back to me. What I don't need is your timeline of when I should be back on track. See, I'm on God's time in learning who I am as a woman that's now single. I'm moving one day and a couple of things at a time, and then I'll commingle. I'm not going to let you rush me to get back to me. I'll get there eventually. Let me work on things in my own way and time. These are things I, not you, have to figure out in my own mind. You continue to work on you too. Be the best possible you that you can be. And while I'm learning about this new me, You can sit and watch the action because now I'm free. You can try to fool yourself by playing that victim card into thinking that you love someone else, but those that know you will say you're a fraud. You can keep trying to keep me down, but I'll always get back up, stronger with each stand. You will no longer keep my face with a frown because I continue to believe God has a plan. Not gonna do love on the rebound. Not gonna settle for any old body. Not gonna be sexing around just to say I got somebody. I'm gonna be true to myself, my feelings and emotions. I'm going to give myself time to heal so that I can be a whole person with my devotion and so that my love and joy with them will be real. It won't be for the money. It won't be till I get back on my feet. I can take care of myself financially, honey. It'll be because of the harvest we both want to reap. There are some necessities and necessaries to get in there. I'm still going through emotionally, all in the power of regaining me with care.
That's good. Snapping it up. That's excellent. So I
Thank
know that you were saying that, it's really like a progression through the book. Where
you.
where is that part? Is that poem actually at the end?
It is toward the end. The very last poem in the book is a poem that I wrote to my daughter, who stood by me and watched me have good days, bad days, rough days, terrible days.
Yeah.
She was there. So the very last poem in the book, I wanted to make sure I wrote something just for her.
That's good. That's good.
Mm.
So I know that in the title you actually have divorce.
Yes.
So is the love, betrayal, heartbreak, pain, and divorce, is this all from one relationship or is it just multiple relationships?
For me, it was just one relationship.
Okay. Okay. And I know that you also said that you pulled other individuals'
I did.
stories. And how did they feel about that though?
They were excited.
Yeah.
When I asked, I said, "Hey, I'm writing this book, and this is the title. Can you think of anything that you'd like for me to talk about in this book?"
Hmm.
And most of my friends were like, "Yeah, why don't you talk about this or why don't you talk about that?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "Okay." But I had one friend in particular who said, "I'd like for you to talk about something nobody ever seems to honor." And I said,
What's
"What's
that?
that?" And he said, "Single dads." I said, "What about the single?"
Wow, that was good.
And he said, "We are the unsung hero. Nobody gives us credit. We're the single dad and the sole parent,
Hmm.
and we have the kids and not the mom." So
Hmm.
I told his story too.
That's good. That's good. Can you read that one for us?
Now, give me a minute to find that thing. It's called, let's get to it. It's called Single Dad. Talking to an old friend one day seemed to have a lot to say about the joys of being a single dad and what's happening at his pad. Single dads have the same worries as concerns as a single mother, and like them, he has to discern who he can bring around his children too. No different than a single mother do. He making the Rice Krispie treats for the kiddos to eat. He's walking the kids to the bus and learning on whom he can trust. Just like single mothers, that mother is not around. She disappeared and won't put that pipe down. But still, he gets the kids off to school, teaching them to be respectful and follow the rules. He's had his child since day one. Mom left shortly after the child was born. He fought the courts for custody for his children. This man has loyalty. Mom isn't even in the picture. She isn't even a fixture in this child's life. It's just dad in the child's life. Takes the children to the park, teaches them to paint art, teaches them to swim. This man is always with them. Karate class, football, homework too, visiting grandparents without a mom in view. Pick them up from the bus stop. Let's give the single dads their props. Some of them have been betrayed, just like us, and left with the children to raise and teach trust. They are fixing breakfast and packing lunches and being the hand which the child clutches. He is a single dad raising his child alone. There is no helping queen on a throne. He's a king raising children to be kings and queens, taking them to their checkups and getting vaccines. He's a hero, unrecognized, but he should be recognized. This should be stated and is a fact. All black men are not deadbeat dads.
That's good. I really like that one. That's an excellent one. You know, I think that is so great how you ask your friends to also be a part of the book. And I think that that's just amazing that that's a topic that he wanted to talk about, because that is so true. We don't talk about single dads.
Yes, and a lot of times we tend to beat them up and think
Hmm.
that, that they're being, out there with this one and that one and this one and that one
Yeah.
because they are single, and that's not the case for every man.
Definitely, definitely. So, like I said, you all of Trenae's information is in the description box. If you feel that you really resonated with either one of those poems, or you just like poetry, we would love for you to go ahead and purchase her book from Amazon, or you can purchase it from her website. So, how do you actually feel that you lost yourself in the midst of that heartbreak and betrayal and divorce that you experienced?
Um, Different responsibilities. My responsibilities changed
Mm-hmm.
during the marriage. And in the midst of those responsibilities changing, the time spent with my family that I wanted, I didn't have.
Okay.
And it didn't help that the person that I was with didn't understand what I had to deal with. And so, in trying to fulfill my responsibilities, I felt like I lost myself because I worried more about everybody else and what was going on
Mm-hmm.
than I did about me. And it got to a point to where it was like, well, what do you want me to wear? How should I wear my hair? Um, how should I dress? Oh, I can't wear this. Oh, you think it's too tight, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing too much, or whatever. But I got to a point I was like, okay, you don't want me to dress this way, but you out looking at the very women in the club that's dressed the way you don't want me to look when you're
Uh-huh.
proud to have me on your arm. And
Uh-huh.
so that was one of the first steps I took in getting back to me. When I moved out, I went shopping. That was the first thing I did. I went shopping.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
What fits me? What do I like? And I had the ladies in the store help dress me because I didn't know what to wear, what looked good, what was really fashionable, what complimented my shape. And
Mm-hmm.
so I really had to get some help. And
Mm-hmm.
so they were very nice about helping me pick a whole new look for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, was it your friends or family that had to actually bring this to your attention, that they felt that you weren't being, the Trinae that they knew?
A very good couple of friends. There
Mm-hmm.
were two, well, I'll say three, three in
Mm-hmm.
particular. I won't
Mm-hmm.
call their names, but there were three in particular who pulled me to the side and said, look here, sis, you got to do better.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
got to do this for you, and you got to do this for your child.
Mm-hmm.
Take the step. Listen to what we're telling you. I know it's hard, but I need you to take this step. I mean, I almost didn't even release the book because
Mm-hmm.
I felt like these are my feelings. These are
Yeah.
my emotions. I don't want to share this with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
This is from my heart. These are y'all stories. Pour it out to me, and me writing a book. And a very good friend, that young lady right there. That's my sister. I'm the only
Yeah.
child, so I have to adopt them where I can.
Okay. Uh-huh.
But my sister, she cussed me out and said, "Hit the damn button."
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to send it back to Amazon for them to go through their modifications and whatnot. And she told
Mm-hmm.
me, she said, Trinae, this book is not for you. God gave it to you, but it's not for you. It's for
Mm-hmm.
other people, not
That's
just
good.
women. It's for other people. And if
Mm-hmm.
he gave it to you to share, you better be obedient and do what he told you to do. Not send the
Mm-hmm.
doggone book. And
Yeah.
I reached over to the computer and, you know,
Once you push it, then it's no turning back.
turning back at that point. But she's
Uh-huh.
helped a lot as far as promoting the book. She sold some books for me. She's brought the attention to the book to a lot of people. And I'm just thankful I got those kind of people in my corner.
That's good. That's excellent.
Yes, ma'am.
So I do want to recognize Ada Tola Winters that's actually watching the show. She said, "Yes, ma'am, you are right. We need to give the men more kudos." We did. We
Yes,
gave them that kudos. We gave them a poem in the book.
yes,
Um,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
so why did you decide, or why did you decide? Why did you decide to actually share such intimate and vulnerable moments in your life?
I couldn't say what I wanted to say to the person I wanted to say it to. They wouldn't let me speak.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I would try to say something, it was turned against me as though I was the problem. And I got tired of that. And so I started writing because that was the only way I could say what I wanted to say and what was in my heart.
Yeah.
And one day I sowed a seed into a ministry, and the prophet told me, God said, release the book. It's not for you,
Mm-hmm.
but you need to release it. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, man, you don't know me. You know, I ain't been writing nothing. What you talking about? Release the book.
Uh,
And he said, you've been writing for 2.5 years. And I said, I've written nothing but poetry for 2.5 years. That's all I've written. He said,
uh-huh.
God said, release the book. It's not for you. And so I released it.
Yeah.
And I felt like I'm not the only woman that's gone down this road. There are men that have gone down this road, and somebody's got to speak that pain, into a point to where saying what you want to say can start to heal you and can start to bring some peace.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
So it and go ahead and that's what was you about to
that's
say?
why I went on and listened to my friend when she told me to hit the button, because
Mm-hmm.
she's a prophet also, and she told me hit the button. It's not for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was obedient.
Yeah, yeah. So now let me ask you something. Do you feel that this was something gradual, that the man that you was with was controlling, or did you see those red flags in the beginning of the relationship?
It was gradual.
Okay.
It was very gradual. Because initially there was no problem with the way I wore my hair, the way I dressed, or the way I would be when we would be out with people. And it got to a point to where I started to feel uncomfortable being out with him. I felt like I
Hmm.
wasn't wanted around. And so it was gradual. And then there was more time when they weren't even home. And I would be at home with the kids. And I'm like, when do I get to have some fun?
Yeah.
When do I get to go out? When do I get to de-stress? And the
Hmm.
times of coming home started to become later and later and later. And what really angered me after everything, initially finding out, was that everybody knew. It seemed like everybody knew, but nobody opened up their mouth to tell me anything about what was going on. And I guess that was part of their devotion or commitment to him,
Yeah.
because if I keep your secret, then he'll keep mine.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's how I felt.
Hmm. But let me ask you this: in certain in situations like that, though, I know many times we hear about somebody telling a woman that their man is cheating, and then in turn that woman gets mad at the person that told them. Do you feel that you would have been that type of woman, or like how do you feel that somebody outside of the relationship should handle that situation if they see that person that they're cheating on with?
I think it's the individual thing. I really do. I
Mhm.
personally would have wanted to know, even if they didn't come straight out and say, your husband's cheating on you. There's a million ways you could have told me what was going on. Girl, you might want to check up on some things.
Mhm. Mhm.
Something going on that ain't right. You
Yeah.
know, um, don't be so trusting. Don't believe everything that's going on or what's being told you. There was a million ways that someone could have told me that I needed to be on the alert for things,
Mhm.
but nobody
Mhm.
said anything. And even when they knew directly, had seen the situation up close and personal, they
Mhm.
still didn't say a word. And so I felt like that's why I wrote in the book a poem called So-Called Friends, because to me, that's what they were, so-called
Mm.
friends. Even if they would have hurt me later on down the road, I would rather have known that you love me enough to tell me the truth, and that I need to be on the lookout because things ain't what they seem to be.
Yeah.
That live a lie and live with someone that's living a double life.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
that initially it hurt my family tremendously.
Yeah. Yeah. So can you actually, or have you gotten to that point where you forgave those individuals that knew about the betrayal? Um, did
Yes,
did you forgive them?
I did. I
Yeah.
did because I had to do that for myself. And not only that, knowing where I lived at the time, because I've only been here about a year, but where I lived at the
Okay.
time, I knew I was going to run into them somewhere. So how
Mm.
do I keep the peace? I can't keep the peace by holding this grudge. No, I don't like what you did. but let's see how you treat me now.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the situation is over and it's done, let me see how you're going to treat me now. And even though they didn't tell me, they respected my decision to do what I had to do for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of them, even though they didn't tell me, they were supportive.
Mm-hmm. So,
And
so what does the process of regaining yourself actually look like? How did
it's,
that look for you?
oh my gosh, it was a day by day by day moment. I can't tell you that it was a overnight boom. I'm back to no. It was a day by day by day. There were some good days, and there were some really really bad days
Mm-hmm.
where I'm going, in my own mind. Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
What do I want? What do
Yeah.
I like? Where can I go that I don't run into to them?
Yeah.
And if I do run into them and they're with somebody, what am I going to do? Am
That's
I going to
good.
run away?
Mm-hmm.
Or am I going to sit there and be the lady and woman that I am, knowing that I didn't start this mess? You
Yeah.
did.
That's so good.
And so it was a day by day process. And when I tell you, when it was some bad days, they were bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Lots of crying, a lot of tears, um, a lot of beating myself up,
Yeah.
a lot of beating myself up. And until, and it's taken a while. And every now and again, I still find myself trying to beat myself up. But
Mm-hmm.
thank God for good friends who tell me, oh, hell no, we're not going to let you go through this moment. Oh,
That's
no, you
good.
go look in the mirror.
That's so good. Yep.
I go look in the mirror, and sometimes I'm still like, I don't see what you see. And they was like, girl, you could steal a room when you walk in. Just walk in, be yourself, and smile.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what my sister told me.
Yeah.
Walk in,
Yeah.
steal the room, girl. You in that hair, that walk, that complexion. You got
Uh-huh.
it going on. I just need you to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
And she was very encouraging to
That's
me. And
good.
still
That's
is.
excellent. That's excellent. What would you say to somebody that does not have that type of support system, and they are, out of, maybe that relationship where, the person they were with, was cheating on them, betrayed their trust. What would you say to that person?
Talk to God. If you ain't got nobody else to, talk to God, because that's the only person that's not going to tell what you really thinking. You'll never
Mm-hmm.
hear it again if you talk to God. But you got to encourage yourself. I had little stickers all over the mirror. I had little positive statements stuck all over my cabinets, just to try to keep myself encouraged.
That's good.
And I written them on those white neon colored postcards.
Yeah.
I had them stuck everywhere, right next to the wall in the bathroom. I mean, just everywhere. And I would try to take one every day and just focus on that one for me. And some
Mm-hmm.
days I couldn't take that one and just use it for me. And
Yeah.
then I started coming across. My aunt gave me this box that had a whole bunch of my mother's things in it,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a little card in there that she gave me when I was about 17 years old, and it was called a letter to my daughter.
Mm.
And I found that little card
I would have died.
after all these years.
Uh-huh.
Of that little card, letter to my daughter: be
Mm-hmm.
courageous, be strong, let God guide you through. He has a purpose for your life. Trust and believe He does. If you do
Mm-hmm.
nothing else with this little card, hold it near and dear to your heart. But remember, with me, I'll never part.
That's excellent.
And it just
Ah.
And it was just, one of those little cards. It looked like a little credit card, big enough to put
Uh-huh.
on the road. But when I found that card, it just did something. That it was, wake
Yeah.
up, Trinae, wake up. Are
Mm-hmm.
you gonna do what your mom told you to do, or are you gonna sit in this funk? What you
Mm-hmm.
gonna do?
Yeah.
And so it made me take a different step and a different stand, to the point that I moved from that location for
Mm-hmm.
more than one reason. And I felt like, initially when I got divorced, God had already told me to leave. Had I left, I probably wouldn't have had this book, because I wouldn't have probably went through all of this.
Mm-hmm.
But the second time when he told me to leave, I packed my house up and moved into a two-bedroom apartment, from a four-bedroom house to a two-bedroom apartment. And I
Mm-hmm.
left, and I had everything packed up and was gone in 8 days.
Wow.
I
Uh-huh.
was obedient, and I was determined. I got to get out of this place, because if I stay here, I'm really gonna lose my mind and I'm really gonna go insane. And everybody here that, not everybody, but certain
Mhm.
people, you pushing all my buttons and you're doing this intentionally to
Yeah.
cause unnecessary hurt and unnecessary pain in my life when it doesn't even have to be that way.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
this time when God told me to leave, I left.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, that was the best move I could have made. It was
Definitely.
the best because
Yeah.
I'm not in the situation where I run into those same people. I don't run
Mhm.
into, I don't see those same places that remind me so much of what I've been through.
Mhm.
So it's been its own blessing. And being here, I'm still trying to figure out where I can and can't go,
Yeah.
what all's going on, because I've only been here a year,
Mhm.
so I'm still learning. But I've found a few little spots that I like up in here.
That's good. That's excellent. And you guys, if you're watching from the Dallas area, reach out to Trina and just let her know, some cool places. She does spoken word, so let her know some good poetry spots. But just continue to encourage her and pray for her, because I think it's so imperative. Life beats us up every single day. And, people say, oh, don't worry about it. But you constantly had those reminders. It's not like you just get amnesia the next day or anything. And so I just think it was so great that you implemented just words of affirmation throughout your house, that really just helped you through the good times and the bad times.
And baby, I went through and saged this house. I Palo Santo this house. I threw
Uh-huh.
black all over the house. Everything that I could think of that was a Louisiana tradition for my sacred,
Yeah.
honey, I did it all.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Uh-huh.
learning that it's time for me to have peace.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Amen to that. So, if you guys are just now tuning into the show, you are actually watching Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. I have author Trena Matthew on the show. She has written a book called Regaining Me, real talk about love, betrayal, heartbreak, pain, and divorce. And this is a collection of poems that she has actually written. So, I want to give a shout out to Daniel Jones that's actually watching. Hello, Daniel. So Daniel says, Trinae, so true. Talk to God. Also, God will send you a sign if your instincts say something isn't right. Believe your instinct.
Absolutely. And I'm not even going to go with that conversation because the morning that everything happened, I
Mm-hmm.
was sitting in the parking lot in front of Big Lots and I said, Lord, show me.
Yeah.
And about 10, 15 minutes later, I was given a set of directions,
Mm-hmm.
went
Mm-hmm.
right to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I prayed about it
That's good.
and because I knew something wasn't right.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like those moments where our instincts kick in, we say, "Oh, don't worry about it," and you talk to yourself. You say, it's nothing. You just ate a cheesesteak at 10 p.m. Don't worry about that. So we brush off those internal instincts that we have, and we shouldn't.
Absolutely. We should not. You got to pay attention to them because a lot of times that's your truth.
Mm-hmm. 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 So, how did writing Regaining Me help you reconnect with the woman that you lost?
Oh my gosh. The first thing I did was I said, what do I want to do that I always wanted to do that I couldn't do because they didn't want to share that moment with me or they didn't want to do it with me. And the
Mm-hmm.
first thing I did was went and took swing dance, Texas swing out.
Did you?
I've been honey, I had been watching them do their thing with that, and and behind the back, and I had been watching them do
Uh-huh.
it for like 3 years, and I was like, I want to do that. And so
Uh-huh.
that was one of the first things I did. I put myself in that class to do something I had been wanting to do for years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was probably the very first thing I did that was just for me.
That's good.
It turned out to be probably one of the best things I did for myself because it gave me a whole new circle of people to be around
Mm-hmm.
where I didn't necessarily have to be around the folks who knew what I had gone through. and the people who knew what was going on and never said a word. It gave me a whole new circle.
Mm-hmm.
And for me doing so, it just gave me a different look about myself. It
Yeah.
gave me a different feel for myself. What did I like? What did I want? It helped to open those avenues for me because they would suggest things that they were doing, and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. I want to
Mm-hmm.
go. And
Mm-hmm.
so I started participating in some of those things, and it really helped me.
How did you get out your comfort zone of doing things by yourself?
I made myself get out my comfort zone. I said I got to get out of my own way because right now I'm in my own way. And a friend of
Mm-hmm.
mine helped me to understand that I was in my own way.
Mm-hmm.
My sister, she
Mm-hmm.
helped me understand that I was in my own way and to get out my own way and go start doing something. It was like, why are you stuck in the house? Why are you here? Go
Mm-hmm.
somewhere,
Yeah.
do something. And so I had a really good friend, male friend at the time, and I would talk to him. And, sometime I want to go out somewhere, and he would tell me, my gut instinct tells me, Trina, don't go because it's not going to be a good night. Just don't go. And I trusted him enough to not go. When
Mm-hmm.
he told me, I just got a good feeling it's not going to be a good night, don't go. Or if you're going to go somewhere, don't go here, go over
Okay.
here.
Mm-hmm.
And I trusted him enough to not go when he told me not to go or somewhere else when he told me to.
Yeah.
And that helped me a lot as well.
So speak to our viewers about those moments that you have of feeling lonely and you want to call that person.
Um, Initially, I would call
Mm-hmm.
because for one, there were some things that were going on because there are children, there's child involved, and so at some points I actually did have to call, but I got to a point where I'm calling you because I need to talk to you about something that pertains to our child, but I'm not going to allow you to disrespect me by not answering the phone because you don't know what I'm calling you for. And
Mm-hmm.
so I actually confronted him face to face and said, you are not going to do this to me because you never know what I'm calling you for. You need to
Mm-hmm.
answer the phone when I call you. And so that kind of, changed that moment and they realized, yeah, I am kind of being disrespectful with that.
Yeah.
And then the times that I felt really, really alone, I would watch TV and I would be up to 2, 3 in the morning, but I tried to watch movies that were encouraging,
That's
true
good.
stories or movies that were about, how good God is to us. I tried to watch those type of movies rather than watching some sad, sappy love song.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I couldn't listen to certain songs on the radio. And every
Uh-huh.
I would change the channel and try to find me
Mm-hmm.
something that was upbeat and happy that didn't have nothing to do with my situation.
Yeah.
I cried a lot. But one of the things that I did, I took from, I can't think of the name of the movie. You might can think of the name of it. But I set up a prayer closet in my house. And there was nothing in that prayer closet except a bottle of blessed oil, a
Uh-huh.
chair, a candle, and some paper.
Uh-huh.
That was it. And I spent
What's that called? War room or prayer
war room.
room?
Yes,
Yeah.
war room. I did do that. I said, and even now, where I am right now, I have a closet. When you come in my house, it's just for that. There's
That's
nothing
good.
in there except a candle, some blessed oil, and a chair.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was my moment to let God know, I know you ain't forgot about me.
Mm-hmm.
I know you still got the upper hand. I know you're going to take care of me. And I
Yeah.
really needed to know that. And I had even got to the point I was like, I'm not going to church. I'm not going to my church. I'll go to church, but I ain't going to mine
Yeah.
because it's so shameful,
Mm-hmm.
to be with somebody for so long and then divorce or separate over those circumstances. I found it very embarrassing, especially
Mm-hmm.
when you think that you and that person have something really good and that it's been touched and blessed and anointed by God. And
Mm-hmm.
only to find out the things that are going on, you're like, what happened? And then I think about, I'm like, man, I was always at the altar praying for God to, help me to bless my marriage, to save my marriage, for us to be better people, better
Yeah.
parents, to be a better couple. But it took me a long time to realize that his time in my life was over.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a long time to
Mm-hmm.
realize that the one blessing that I was supposed to receive in my life from him, I did, and we probably should have divorced or separated long before
Mm-hmm.
we ever got to that point. And the cheating and the betrayal and everything came in. And the sad part was, as after I moved out and, you kind of start, finding out different things from different people, I found out that pretty much the whole time we was married, I was the one being betrayed, lied to, and cheated on.
Wow. Wow.
That hurt even more.
Hmm. So
And to
what? Oh, and to.
and to find out that
Uh-huh.
some of the people that were in my face, as though they were my friend, were some of the very people he was sleeping with.
Mm. Oh my
That hurt.
gosh.
That hurt even more. And so I remember being out one night running into this person, and they tried to come over and have a conversation with me, and I just had to walk away. I just
Mhm.
walked away. I went and got the manager, and I said, "Tell them to stay away from me because I know what they did. And
Mhm.
ain't no coming over here to talk to me. There's no I'm sorry. No
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's good enough for them to think that they can hold a conversation with me."
Mhm.
And so they took care of it, and I didn't have to deal with that person. I stayed where I was. They stayed in the club, and I had myself a good time, and they didn't say anything to me, and I didn't say anything to them.
You are such a strong person. I'm telling you, it's oh man, that is something. What do you hope readers walk away with after reading your collection of poems?
That you can still stand. God has a plan. We may not understand why we have to go through the things that we do, but if you walking with God, you are always going to be one or two steps ahead of the person that betrayed you.
Amen.
And no matter how many times that person tries to knock you down, if you just keep getting back up, God will continue to give you the strength to make it through each day by day, step by step, bit by bit, moment by moment. Just got to keep trusting, because
Mhm.
I was knocked down a whole lot, and I was just determined. You're not gonna get the best of me. I'm not gonna let you. You might see me cry. You might see me upset. You might hear me go off on you about things I don't like, but I'm still gonna get up and I'm gonna stand. I'm gonna go to work every day. I'm gonna do the best I can to raise our child, and I'm just gonna go from there. But I'm not gonna allow you to continue to knock me down without getting back up.
That's good. That's good. So, what would you say to someone who feels like they're losing their self because of a difficult time or situation that they're experiencing now?
Go do something just for you and see how good it feels.
Hmm.
Something, even if it's just I'm going to get a pedicure. This is
Yeah.
just for me, and I'm gonna get the big deluxe one. I'm gonna get the one that costs the most money. This is gonna
Uh-huh.
be just for me. Go do something for yourself,
Hmm.
because in that time that you sit there and you think, you have time to think about you and refocus on you and what it is that you really want when you're doing something for yourself. And it's not that you forget about everybody else, but at some point you got to take care of you.
Hmm.
You got to do something for you. You don't work hard just to pay bills every day. Do something just for you. One of the things I did, I cut all my hair off. My hair was halfway down my back when I got
Hmm.
ready, about 2 weeks before I got divorced.
Okay.
And I went to the beauty shop one day. I went to a barber, actually. He was a barber, and I
Hmm.
said, cut it off. I was half natural and half perm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cut it off. She said, do you realize how long your hair is? I said, yep. Cut it off.
Hmm.
Cut it all off. When my daughter saw me, she looked at me like, yeah, um, mom, really? Yeah, really.
Uh-huh.
But I felt like I had to do something different that was just for me. And I was like, either I'm gonna perm this mess or I'm gonna go natural. Which one? Everybody else is going natural. Let me try it too. I got good hair. Let me try it.
Hmm.
And actually kind of like the look of the short,
Yeah.
look. It's growing back out now, but and it's in that tween phase, which I don't like, but I want it to grow back long again. So
Hmm.
I'm letting.
That's
But just
excellent.
doing something for me, it helped me a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. So, do you have a actual place that you read your poetry on a regular basis in the
Oh, I
Dallas
like to go
area?
to Sway's place. I like to go to Sway's place because Brandy Wine puts it down up in there. I love her spot. It's inside of American Celebrations in DeSoto.
Okay.
And I love going to her spot because I feel safe there. I feel safe as far as, being able to read my poetry and,
Hmm.
saying what's on my mind.
Yeah.
I feel safe being there because of the crowd. It's a more mature crowd. And those people go in there, they ready to hear some poetry. They not going up in there for no mess.
Hmm.
They go because they enjoy poetry, and her live bands are fantastic. So for me, I get to do a little combination. little vending,
Yeah.
little poetry, little enjoying the band, little
That's
line
good.
dancing. I get to do a little bit of it all going to her place. And that's why I like her spot so much.
So now, does she have specific days that she does her poetry nights?
She has different nights.
Okay.
She actually even does an erotic poetry night. Hey,
Okay. You're so funny.
like down up in there on erotic poetry night.
Yeah,
But
I
she,
can't. I can't handle that. I can't. Practicing abstinence. No,
look, yes, it'd be so good.
I bet you do. Let me wait till I'm married.
She does a neo soul poetry night
Uh.
as well, and there's a couple other different things that she does with open mic poetry night, and then there's a
Yeah.
couple of poetry titles that she has as
Hmm.
well. But I like to go there.
That's excellent. So if you guys are in the DeSoto, Texas area, make sure you go by Sway so you can listen to Trinae read her poems, and you can meet her and you can purchase your book from her there as well. I thank you again, Trinae, just for your strength that you really just have just been exuding, and just really just being transparent with us about your ups and downs of this journey that you've been through.
And it is a new journey, but thank God I'm not in the same headspace that I was. And
Yeah.
that's why when I started this second book, it's very different from the first one.
So,
Very.
would you like to tell the viewers what that book is about?
It is about the destructive things that happen to us in life and
Hmm.
destructive things that we do to ourselves. But it's also writing about how, in spite of all of it, God still keeps us. A friend of mine in Shreveport, Louisiana, gave me the title for the book. And I won't say what it is just
Okay.
yet, but just know that it's very different from this first one.
Hmm.
Very
Hmm.
different, because I wanted people to know and understand, even though we go through, God does keep us away from a lot of things, and we may not know why, but
Yeah.
He. And so, like, the lady across the street from me, she was hit by an 18 wheeler on I-20. Her
Wow. Uh-huh.
vehicle came out unscratched, and she's legally blind, but she came out unscathed, not a scratch on her. But
Hmm.
the mom was messed up. But I told her story. That wasn't nothing but God that kept her,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I talked about, another story where um, someone was shot in the chest, up close and personal in the club because they
Hmm.
broke up with somebody, but they still here. God kept them here for a reason.
Hmm.
So that's what this book about. The destructive things that happen to us, destructive things we put ourselves through, but yet in spite of all of it, God still keeps us. So it's kind of a safe in the master's arms kind of moment,
Yeah.
moments. That's what this second book is about.
So, is that book also a collection of poems?
It is.
Okay. Okay.
I I, I guess God don't want me to write a novel because that's not what He keeps giving me. He gives me poetry.
He don't want you to write it yet.
Yes, not.
You
But
just.
He gives me poetry, but I'm still telling folks stories. I'm still
Uh,
being obedient. I write what He tells me to write.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And you guys, I thank you all for just taking time to watch authors to know and their books to read. Make sure you go ahead and um, visit author Trinae Matthews page, her Facebook page, and that link is in the description box, because we would love for you to go ahead and like and follow her page so that you'll be notified when she releases her new and upcoming book. Make sure you also follow me on Facebook as well as my Instagram page, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Trinae, thank you again so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And you guys will see you all later, and have a great night. Bye bye.
Bye bye.